This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Biden is calling for scrapping the Senate filibuster rules to fight what he says is a Republican assault on American democracy. Jeff Murdoch, Harris Alec, and Stephen Dinan report the president, in a speech in Atlanta, said the upper chamber has been rendered a shell of its former self because Republicans have blocked Democrats from bringing two voting bills to the floor.
I believe that the threat to our democracy is so grave that we must find a way to pass these voting rights bills. Debate them, vote, let the majority prevail. And if that bare minimum is blocked, we have no option but to change the Senate rules, including getting rid of the filibuster for this.
Standing in his way, however, are not Republicans, but some Senate Democrats, such as West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin. Manchin is skeptical of undoing longstanding filibuster rules and said changing the filibuster would be tantamount to destroying the Senate. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who once called curtailing the filibuster a doomsday for democracy, now says the centuries-old practice has outlived its use. Schumer is trying to rally the 50 members of his caucus to use the nuclear option to change the filibuster rules, lessening the threshold for action to a mere majority of senators voting. He set a deadline for Monday for his next step, though he hasn't revealed what it will be. North Korea has conducted its second ballistic missile launch of the new year, testing a suspected hypersonic missile that sparked concerns in Washington. Guy Taylor and Mike Lund report the missile flew about 435 miles before crashing into the ocean and traveled at roughly 10 times the speed of sound. U.S. authorities took the unusual step of halting takeoffs and landings at airports along the West Coast during the moments after the launch was detected. Officials said the pause was out of an abundance of caution, though they wouldn't specify which airports were affected or say explicitly what triggered the move. The Pentagon's Indo-Pacific Command said only that the launch didn't pose an immediate threat to U.S. personnel or territory, or to our allies. More than 300 police officers died after contracting COVID-19 while on duty in 2021, the biggest driver of death in a record year for law enforcement fatalities in the United States. Emily Zanto reports the 458 officers who either died of COVID-19 or were killed in the line of duty last year is up 55% from 2020, and the highest number since 312 died in 1930. That's according to a report by the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund. 301 officers died of COVID-19, and 84 were killed in felonious assaults. The majority of the total officers killed worked in heavily populated states, including 84 in Texas, followed by 52 in Florida, and 39 in Georgia. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George for a special subscription offer. A federal class action lawsuit accuses 16 top universities of conspiring to fix tuition prices by eliminating competitive financial aid offers to students. 5 former Northwestern, Duke, and Vanderbilt students have filed the antitrust lawsuits in Illinois, Sean Salai reports. They say officials from the 16 schools, which include Georgetown and some Ivy League schools, have met regularly in a consortium since 1998 to fix their financial aid offers at the same low levels. The complainants say the arrangement has overcharged more than 170,000 middle and working class families by hundreds of millions of dollars for tuition and room and board. The lawsuit seeks financial damages for students who paid tuition or room and board at the schools from 2003 to the present, plus an injunction to end the practice, which it says violates federal antitrust laws. And finally, a growing movement seeks to bar former President Trump and Republican lawmakers accused of ties to last year's Capitol riot from running for future office. Mika Sellner and Kerry Pickett report the liberal-leaning groups Free Speech for People and Our Revolution have sent letters urging election officials in all 50 states to disqualify Trump and his allies from qualifying for the ballot. The groups are using the 14th Amendment to make the case of prohibiting them from running campaigns because of their perceived role in inciting the attack. Section 3 of the amendment, enacted in 1868, disqualifies someone from holding office after taking an oath to uphold the Constitution, but later engages in insurrection or rebellion against the country. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms just by searching Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.